Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today I'm showing you some new finds, stuff that I'm listing on eBay, sitting in at Amazon, stuff I like to sell that works for me, that it's kind of like a learning opportunity and things for you to kind of look at and discuss some differences between selling, like a couple examples of something I'll sell on eBay versus Amazon and why. So, but mainly just some new cool finds. So it's been a while since I've done a video, and I've just been busy, had been out of town some, and I've talked about there's like going through different seasons, right? There's seasons of selling, there's seasons of life, and there's some things that have just kind of cleared up on the personal side that I feel like are moving in the right direction. So glad to be able to do a video. Hope everybody's doing good. I know there's just lots of crazy stuff going on in the world, and hopefully everybody's doing good. I will say that I had to go on a work trip out to California, and I was able over the weekend to take some personal time and do some hiking in Yosemite, and I'll throw a couple of pics up. But that place, I stayed in Curry Village, and I'm actually going to do a Curator of the Lost Travels video at some point on questions about Curry Village and staying in the tent. But it's such a gorgeous place, one of my favorite places on earth. If you like to hike, or if you just want to get out with nature and you have the opportunity to get into the Yosemite Valley, highly recommend it. So with that, let's jump in, show you some finds. So this first one's kind of an interesting. I'd stopped by a thrift store that I don't go to very frequently, and there's a stack of like music books. And I saw this Jerry Jeff Walker, and I didn't know the guy. This Gypsy Songman book. This book sells. The reason I picked it up because a lot of times it was an interesting title, Gypsy Songman. But what really got me is a lot of times I find sometimes these things are inscribed, where the author or the artist has signed them. And I checked, and this one was not. But it turns out that this thing sells for like $68 all day long on Amazon. Now on eBay, I see several sold. But it kind of ranges from that $14 to $70 range. There's a lot of them in that $20 to $25 range. So sometimes I get the questions, how do you know, or where do you sell things on eBay versus Amazon? And for me, I'm an old school eBay guy, but I list Amazon with Fulfilled by Amazon. And for me, the fundamental thing is, where can you make the most profit? And where can you make the most profit easiest, right? So this is one that I'll send in for Fulfilled by Amazon, sell it for $68. I think my profit on that will be about $45 to $49, and that's everything, right? And if I sell it on eBay, I think that it would only be, like sell it maybe for 30, maybe 40, and probably only make 20 or 25. So this is a case where it's going to Amazon because I can clearly make more on Amazon. In general too, for me, if it's just kind of pull the thread on that. If it's an older vintage book or more collectible, I sell that on eBay. If it's not barcoded kind of thing, older books, like what's that is it 70 to 72 time frame when we started doing ISBN codes and barcodes, and barcodes might be much later than that. But anyway, vintage collectible stuff stays on eBay. If it's a fast high seller, and then the ultimate thing though is profit. So this will be a good one, about a $40 to $45 profit, kind of cool book. All right, this next one, I've had some success. This is kind of cool, this couture sewing, and it's kind of neat because it shows all these different finishes and different, sewing techniques for different style things. Pretty snazzy clothing. This is about $30 to $32 book. I paid, that other one, I paid 50 cents for that one too. I actually paid $3 for this one, but it's a $30 to $32 book. I've had some success in the past on specialty sewing. They're not always a hit, but when I see kind of stuff like this, I look for it. The next one, and I'm only going to show you one bundle. There are some magazines, and see how they're bundled up, and it's Woodsmith magazines. I got these at a library bookstore, and the red dot means that they were, I think red dot is $1. Maybe it was 50 cents. I think it was $1. But these were in bundles of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, bundles of 12. I got 7 bundles of them. So I've got like 84 of these things. And what I find is that when they're put in lots, in bundles of multiple years, they sell for about $1 a piece. So I've got like 7 of these. I've got $7 in them, and 84. They'll sell on eBay $79.99, $85.99, $84.99, something like that. They're about $1 a piece when you sell them in big, bundles or lots. So great find. I'll just make sure, I'll see what years they are and see if they're complete years. List them all as one thing. Like I said, I've got 6 more bundles of these, but didn't want to give my workout here on video. Here's another, came from the same place because of this, this red dot. What's interesting about this is just kind of struck me. It was this collected works here of the first detectives, collected Margaret Miller. And I was kind of surprised at this. It just caught my eye. I wasn't sure about Margaret Miller. And this is selling on Amazon for about $35. Kind of interesting because, I specialize in, I typically lean toward nonfiction stuff, right? And something, fiction book, $35. Hey, it just shows. A lot of times if I'm doing stuff mainly nonfiction, I like nonfiction hardbacks, kind of my wheelhouse. I think that's where a sweet spot is. But look, there's no single way to do it. If you're a fiction person, if you're a paperback person, here's fiction paperback, $35 book. There's all kinds of ways to do it. It just depends on what your sourcing places, what your stores, what they give to you, and what works for you. Okay, here's one, Saluki. It's a type of dog. It's kind of, I think it was like originally maybe a Middle Eastern kind of dog. Pet books, sometimes specialty things work good. This is $18 to $20. Yeah, I paid $1 for this one. Let's see if this place writes it in there. Paid $1 for it. Pretty cool. All right, boring. Engineering Economy. Paid $1 for it. It's a $40 book. Engineering Economy. Who cares? But this will be one I'll send in to Amazon. All right, this one's kind of interesting. All right, I've sold this before. It's the Sunday Missal. Okay, it's a Bible, St. Joseph's Bible. What's interesting about this one? It's in the original box. I have sold this Bible before, and this is like a I think it's like mid-50s, early 60s. You can see here, it's got the gilded edges, a little bit of wear there. But on these, what happens is a lot of times, they're filled out. This one's not. None of the, so it's basically, it's kind of cool with the red letter stuff. Let me see if I can see the year on this. 1957. Look at this. 1957. Right here. I've sold this one before for about $20. Maybe 15 to 20. I believe this one, I think I can get at least 30 on this being in the box. The box is intact. It's basically, it's not as new because it's, this thing, it's over 70 years old. It's got a little bit of, you can see there's a little bit of edginess there, right? Edge wear. See how the light hits it. But I think I can get at least 30, maybe 35, being in the box, being basically unused. It's, I paid $2 for it. It's even got the original price tag, or the original, yeah, it's marked out with the original store tag. So I thought that was cool. All right, here's one that I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna price it. Dark Places and Demogorgons. It kind of has a style of the Stranger Things show, but this was like a Kickstarter. It's a book from a Kickstarter campaign. And I think this is, like an RPG kind of role-playing, game. Has, movements, different characters, alien life form, phantom fairlane, has different things. Initial research on this, I believe this edition is more of a limited edition on the Kickstarter. This one may be more like $50. It may be more like $20. I've got to do some more research. It was cool. It was also, I paid $3 for it. And it was also signed, so you can see, signed by the Kickstarter guys that created it. I'm thinking it's more like 50. We'll see. Worth it. Worth the take shot. Okay, I've had some good luck with these. Here's Realistic Rock. It's tab This is 18 to 20 bucks. I'll sell this on eBay. What I always check on these, if they say they've got CDs, if they say they've got music CDs, look, they haven't even been used. Make sure they're intact. Make sure it's all there. A little bit of edge wear, but CDs are intact. 18 to 20 bucks. Paid $1 for it. And another one. This is like another $20. It's kind of funny to me. The basic C6 non-pedal lap. I mean, there's so much technical detail there, right? Specialty things like this in music, I tend to find that they sell. I got tickled. I don't know if you've ever listened to Billy Strings. That and I'm not saying he's a lap steel guy. You know, great banjo player, guitar, plays everything, right? But he's self-taught. But he had a thing on NPR where he talked about he doesn't know the theory. He's trying to taking lessons now, doing some of it, but he just knows what it's supposed to sound like, you know. It's a great NPR. If you look it up, it's an NPR episode where they interviewed him. But if you ever see him in concert, he's amazing. And actually, that album was Highway Prayers. That was a couple years out now. Awesome album. So, okay, here's one kind of interesting. The Independent Builder. Build a House Your Way. It's another $18 to $20 book. It's pretty good. Got it for $1. All right, this one is kind of interesting. I've sold these in the past. Harlan Ellison, Dangerous Visions. Now, there's actually 4. I think there's 4. They did Dangerous Visions, then it was again Dangerous Visions. Then I think it was Dangerous Visions 3, and then they did a final compilation anthology. It was called, I think, Final Dangerous Visions, or The Last. All right, so this is paid, I think, $3 for this. This is the book club edition. It's a hardback, and you can tell this one makes it easy. Look, it says book club edition there. You know, if you had the first edition, the non-book club edition of this from like 1967, that can be $100 to $200. I see it selling for $79 to $100 all the time. Good condition, can go higher. The book club edition, this is more like a $25 to $30 book, okay? And sometimes I've sold these where I find, I don't usually find 3 and 4. I usually find this one and the Again. It's a white cover with some swirls on it. I can sell those together. But great, you know, has a little bit of edge wear, but a nice, and it comes, there's the paperbacks of this sell too. But Harlan Ellison's one of those sci-fi, fantasy, horror-ish, you know, he's did a lot of screenplays, a lot of writing. His stuff usually sells pretty good. Good find. Kind of cool. All right, here's kind of a, you know, music. I've been, since the summer or since the spring at that one 25-cent sale, which we just had another 25-cent sale, and I've got a box of stuff that I hadn't processed yet. I got some pretty cool stuff in it too. But since that like 25-cent sale like 6 or 8 months ago, where I found all those music books and sent them into Amazon, I've been kind of keeping my eye out for these. Here's a music therapy improvisation. That's a hard word for me to say. This is about a $35 to $40 book, $38 book. I'm gonna send this one to Amazon. So I keep a lookout for those now. Poor Man Guitars, you know, like cigar box, different things. About a $20 book, very cool. In Huntsville, here in Alabama, over at we've got a Low Mill, kind of an artsy place. There's a guy that does cigar box guitars, and they do playing on Saturday, and he'll teach you to play and do lessons, and you can make your own. It's pretty cool. But it's great photo fun here, you know, how to build them. Let's see if they've got some. He's got all kinds of stuff. Cool $20 book. Somebody will love that. That was so easy. All right, here's one that I bought. I probably overpaid for it a little bit with condition, but it's a first edition of a Frank Zappa book, Them or Us. Okay, there's Frank. There's a reprint of this. This is, I think, in the 80s, early 80s, 1984. This is the first edition. It's probably, it's kind of got some ratty things. One of our library people was trying to sell it on Facebook. No bites. They said, "What would you pay for it?" And I said, "Well, I paid $8 for it. I think I overpaid. I think it's more a $35 to $40 book. Now, if it was in better condition, I think I could get 60 or 70 for it. But it is the first edition. There's a second edition of this that's not as pricey, but it's cool, and it helps the library out. I think I overpaid for it some, but I think I'll still make money off of it. Here's one that's just kind of, I don't even know what this is. It's kind of weird. I think it jumped out at me because of the black cover. You know, it's on the spine. I was like, what is that? Professional Responsibility, A Contemporary Approach. I don't know. That sounds like what do they say, a bunch of hooey? Professional Responsibility, A Contemporary Approach. Anyway, this thing sells for about $30. And, you know, I paid $2 for it. It seemed like it'd sell fast, so it's good. Whatever. I'm not judging. Actually, I'm probably judging some, but anyway. And then the final one. This is the final one. This is a really gorgeous book, and it's about a $50 book. Star Trek Shipyards. Okay, and I paid $5 for it. I'm paying up. Can you believe this? I have noticed a couple of my places, the prices have definitely been going up. I'm not seeing as many of my dollar books. They're more like $2 books now on standard. Not all of them, but I know some of you guys that live in California are like, quit complaining, right? But this is a gorgeous book. Not even been, you know, it's got lots of artsy renderings. There's the Botany Bay. It's just got lots of cool renderings of different Star Trek vessels. There's the Intrepid. Is that the one that they, I was trying to remember, the one that in Star Trek 4 that they crashed or something. So, kind of nerd out. The Road to Warp 5. Anyway, gorgeous book. A book like this too, when I sell it, when I ship it, I've got some of those plastic, those poly bags that are this size. I'll wrap it really good or definitely put it in a poly bag. I want, when I sell something like this that's in such great condition, I want it to get there in this shape. I don't want shipping. I use a box. I want to make sure that whoever buys it, not when I'm saying this thing is in really good shape, and they see my photos, they don't get dinged corners or get ripped or something. So that's important. You don't want to have a great book and then shipping destroy it. So anyway, that's it. The finds. Got some cool eclectic stuff, magazines, a little bit of sci-fi fantasy, some boring engineering econ, look, I'll sell it, whatever. Hopefully that helps. And again, I hope everybody's doing good. I'll try to do a few more videos, a little more regular, but if you're coming back, I appreciate the views. Look forward to the comments, and you guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.